Alright, gonna make another video here of the Go Kart. I'm getting ready to put everything back together. I actually meant to record all this, but I pulled the clutch cover off. It's basically these two bolts here, undo them, and then tap it off. The gasket goes all the way around the top. You have your belt in there and your centrifugal clutch plates. So cleaned that all out, glad I took it off. There was actually a dead mouse in it, so glad I got all that cleaned out, put back together. Everything seems to be working correctly in there. It looks good, belt looks good. So got all that done. Now I'm starting on the rear axle for the reverse. So far I've got the seals put in the outer one. Kind of what I did too is I took pictures of some of this stuff as I was pulling it out, as it was all set together, so I could remember which way these went in. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish putting these together. Try to record most of this as I go, so we'll see how this all turns out. Okay. So I put a little bit of lithium grease on these seals as I'm driving them in. Just helps getting them to go in. Just lubes them up a little bit. So I'll do kind of the same thing on the inside of the seal when I go putting it all together. So just a little bit there, and then set them in. You can kind of press them to get them started, and tap them in. So the other thing you can do is kind of make sure they set decent, set a socket on. Just don't get too carried away with them. Really bottom out. So actually really need just a little bigger socket there. Yeah, just kind of drive them in until they bottom out. Once they kind of bottom out, everything feels good. So that one goes like that. But so pretty much like that. That's how I put those together. I'll probably cut back in here in just a second when I start piecing it all back together on the motor. So, all right, going to kind of go over the seals. So basically I've got the gearbox kind of set up the way it all goes together. My seals are down here still. So I've got to drive two seals, one inside of here, and then another one that'll be on the outer portion of this. So the one seal's down inside, the other one seal's on the outside. So getting ready to get these all lined up, and I'll start putting these in. I think this is my inner one here, but let me make sure. Yeah. Okay, so this is my inner one, which is let me look here. This one's a 25 by 40. So basically this one's got to go all the way down in there and drive around. I'm hoping maybe I can use this to drive it in. We'll see. And if I have to, I can pull this all back apart and put it in there. But I think I should be able to get this without taking all the gears back out of it. I think that's gonna work. If I can get it started there. Okay, so got that one in. Fairly decent. So then we'll go on to the next one here. Again, that one there was a 25 by 40 by 7. So 30 by 42, 30 by 42, and a 30 by 47. I believe the 30 by 47 is the next one, which would be this one here. Again, I want to make sure that I'm correct before I start driving these in, because we don't care to keep doing these over and over and over. Goes there. And that one is a 30 by 42. So again, the 30, basically what that's measuring is your outer diameter. If you see that one's a little narrower, the inner's the same. So they're all 30 on the inside. And yeah, that one fits. Okay. So, throw this nut back on here so I don't mess the threads up. Alright, same thing. I'm going to grease these just like I have the others. And drive it. Then once I get this all put together, I can tighten this gearbox up. I think I've got one O-ring there on a bolt. That actually shouldn't leak. I think they put it there because the seal was out to begin with. So. Again, I'm just driving these until they bottom out. Again, I know, like I said, I don't know a ton of people are really interested in this. Again, I'm doing it for the individual, the one person who out there might need help putting something back together, or pulled one of these apart and just doesn't know where to begin putting it back. So. There when it bottoms out, and it gets a little bit of a different sound. So again, hopefully these will all seal up and fix my problem. Again, whoever had this before, I believe their fix for it was fill it full of grease, which, hey, works, but it's not necessarily the right way to do it. So. Again, when I go push all this together, I'll also put some grease on the inner portions of these seals so everything slides together well there as well. You have to go get a different socket. again, like I said, you can hear when it bottoms out, it kind of has a different sound. So that gets all the seals put in the gearbox. Again, off camera, I built a gasket for in here. Just made my own, set it on there, took a ball peen hammer, and worked it out, built my own gasket. Again, the one that I may have to do is here. This, I don't believe I need to, because I believe I put a seal inside of here. There may be just one on the outside, but I do got to get an O-ring to put on here, which I have here. The original bolt got bent, so I got to do a little bit there to get that all straightened up. But we're ready to tighten this up, snug all these bolts down, and fill it full of oil and see if it's going to leak. So once I get that, I'll get a video probably here in just a minute once I get that full, and start piecing together. Filling this is pretty simple. Here's your fill it to that level, and call it good. So anyway, I'll cut back here in just a second with another video putting this all together. Okay, gonna make another video here, kind of on how to fill this gearbox. So basically, you got a hole here, and then you got a hole in the bottom. So basically, what I do, tip it back, make sure your vent's not plugged, pour a little in there. I've already started filling this one, so it shouldn't take too much. I should be there at kind of the point I want to make. So wipe it off, set it up straight, give it a second. As you can see, it's really close. I'll let you see that. Getting really close to starting to run out. The other thing I try to do is turn it, move things around a little bit in there. So if there's any places that don't have oil in them, get all the air out of it. So move that around a little bit, put some more in there. Let's see, that might start running out there. Again, set it up straight. All right, you see the fluid starting to run back out. So that pretty much tells me I'm full. So like I said, I think I was really close there. So anyway, once you get her full, you can let the excess drain out if you want to. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in, because I think there's probably some pockets and stuff on some of it. And we're not talking a whole lot, probably put another ounce or two in that last turn. So anyway, that's kind of how to fill these. Again, not a whole lot to it, but thought I'd throw kind of a video of how that all works. The oil that I'm putting in this one is actually just a 80W90 gear lubricant, so nothing special. But anyway, tighten it up, and there you go. You got a gearbox. So again, you can go through and make sure everything's working. Everything seems to be spinning pretty freely. There's neutral, forward, and reverse. So anyway, that's it. Next video, or here in just a second, I'll put it all together. So I've got the back bearings all put together, axle, and your little coupler, spline coupler here. So basically, this will go here, just like so. That all slips together. Then this goes here, just like so. That slips onto your drive. So your drive comes in here, and then in turn, when you're in gear, there we go. We'll actually turn your outer sprocket and turn your axle. So got all this kind of put together. What I'm going to do right now, or what I'm hoping to do, is basically put this piece in, get it bolted up into the Go Kart, stick the gearbox in, and then hopefully I can maneuver the engine up into place instead of trying to put all these together as one. Taking them out, I took them all out together as one, but part of that was this bearing and everything is shifted out. Was up against the swing arm. So hopefully I can get all this put in there, but anyway, I'll cut back in once I kind of start getting things bolted into place. and go from there. So got the rear end, driveline, gearbox, all this put back in it. So just so everybody knows, yeah, you pretty much have to put this all together, all in as one piece. I originally started out, put the axle and the bearing pillar blocks in first. Went to put the transmission in. There's no way to get that gap, get that all to line up and still be able to get it up in there. So I took it all back out, tried putting the transmission in first, and I threw a couple bolts in it to see if I could then slide the axle and everything in. You can't. It actually doesn't allow you to because of the swing arm over here. They're so tight, you can't get it in there. I don't even think if you took the sprocket off, you could manage to get it all put back in there. I mean, the end of that bolt on the axle is so tight. I mean, you never get the nut and stuff back on there. So really has to go in. The only way I could find, or only way I could get it to go was putting it all together one piece. So, and just FYI, if you needed a second set of hands, it's a pain in the butt. So got it in. I believe the motor now is the next step. Basically, you're going to lift it up with a jack, slip it up on the splines there, and then attach the top motor mount, which I've got pulled out. It's laying up on the front. Get it attached, and then attach the back one, and I think we should be good. So anyway, I'll cut back here in just a minute. Now got the motor put in. It worked kind of as I think I pretty much stated. Just put the jack underneath it. There, stuck it underneath it, raised it up. I got the splines, everything lined up, slid all that together, and then actually set this top motor mount here in, and just raised it up until that bolt right underneath there lined up, slid it in, put the nut on it, and then kind of the same thing. I set this back motor mount in, got the bottom bolts, these lower bolts down here started, and once I got those, and I just lined these up and let the motor sit down. So motor's in. Really, that's probably the hardest part, was just getting this all put in there. So now it'll be just a matter of tightening up all the motor mounts, getting everything snugged up, and yeah, put the chains on. Chains won't be bad. I'll just take them apart and both sides get the chains on. I want to go through the carburetor before I throw it on. Plan on doing like a pod filter on it. Yeah, then I think other than that, it'll be starting. Like I said, I'm going basically the bare minimum on the wiring, so got a lot to go through. I mean, you can tell what's back here on the motor to make it run. Doesn't really take a whole lot. So basically the starter and power to a coil. So not a lot to it. So anyway, I might add more to this. I may just leave this kind of the video from now once I get all this put together, but she's definitely starting to take shape. So getting close. I mean, kind of the part I was dreading was this whole rear assembly, because taking it out was a pain in the butt. So I knew trying to put it in and keep everything straight and solid was going to be a pain. So, but I think it's going to look good. I mean, just looking at the red motor mount in there, once you get that the one put up underneath and get the roll cage put on top, and then if I do the seats that I'm looking at, they'll be black and red as well. I think it'll look nice. A few things, I did get the radiator overflow in. I bought that off of eBay. I'll try to put some links. One thing I'm not good at is putting links to what parts and where I'm getting them from. So I'll try to get that on there, and as well as the front, or the master cylinder for the brakes. So I actually got both of those sitting over in the corner. So I may throw a video too of kind of putting all that stuff on too. But like I said, I think this will probably be it for this video. Really just wanted to get this motor and stuff put in. So anyway, if anybody has questions, again, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to help you out, and I would really, really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.